Hello everybody, GrayStillPlays, and today I'm here with a new Rimworld tutorial for you. This is a little build of mine just to kind of show a different way to utilize defenses in the game. If you go back to my last video that I did on base defenses, it utilized a lot of very simple tactics, including deadfall traps, the sandbags, and then just walls and roofs to provide cover and a lot of concealment so that different opponents get negatives to their attacks. But in this particular build, I wanted to remove the deadfall traps and just focus on improvised turrets for a little bit. Improvised turrets are kind of interesting defensive structures. By themselves, they don't really appear to do very much, but when you put them in small groups like this, they can do quite a bit. And there's a couple of things that you can do to outfit your base to give them the best possible advantage. So let's go take a look at this build real quick. I'm not saying that this is the best build that you can possibly have. I just want the opportunity to kind of show you guys a little way that you can utilize the turrets and use some of the landscape and different building techniques that the game gives you to give you the best possible advantage. So one of the defensive structures I utilized before was a bunker. And a bunker was basically a place where people could hang out inside of, enjoy the cover of the roofs away from the elements, and also when you're under a roof, you get to be in the dark, which gives anyone firing at you a negative penalty. Now this is kind of like a giant bunker. Now don't mind the rest of this area here, I just kind of made this very hastily just to kind of show you what you could do to the inside of the bunker itself. Now you could obviously make this much larger if you wanted to, so that you would have more space to kind of do things. I just kind of made it about this big. It has everything that you would really need. It's got a couple of bedrooms, it's got a storage area that I built into the side of this mountain over here. It's got a freezer over here, a little research area, a place where you can grow that's walled in, and then area for two different geothermal generators, which powers the entire place, along with a couple of these wind turbines, just because, like I had mentioned in a previous tutorial, they work very well in the middle of crops because they take up a small amount of area. And when you're planting crops, it knocks down any trees and other obstacles so that nothing gets in the way of the wind turbines as they spin, and plants, at least non-tree plants, don't get in the way of the turbines. So it keeps all this area from being able to grow trees and such that would get in the way. Now, if we look at these little defensive pockets here, I didn't want to use any deadfall traps or any kind of IEDs or anything. I mostly just wanted to focus on the element of the bunker setup and then the improvised turrets and kind of show you how powerful these things are when they're designed in such a way to maximize their potential. If we go over here to architect and we go over here to zone, we can real quick look at the expanded roof areas, and this will kind of show you how I made these roof areas. You'll notice that this whole area over here is roofed, as is this area. All the pockets where you'll find any of the turrets are roofed. And there's a reason for this. The reason for this is so that they are in the dark at all times. If we go over this square and we just hover over it, you'll see it says dark, 0% light. So that's good when something's firing at us. It takes a negative to its accuracy. And they're also built in such a way that there's walls so that if they do explode, these walls will protect the rest of the turrets, which are close by. Turrets explode in a 3 square radius. So this turret would explode here, here, and here to potentially damage this turret, causing a chain. But because there's walls in the middle of them, this will absorb the brunt. And not only that, it gives the colonists here an area to go to in order to repair and keep the turret safe. I'll just kind of bring Zavala over here to give you an idea of how this works. You're going to notice that there's some mortars over here too. It's kind of a little extra tidbit that I'll give you guys. This isn't really the point of the entire build, but it is something that I also wanted to mention. We'll do that in a second. So I like to keep my people, depending on where the opponents are coming, right against the walls here. So one would be here, for instance, one could be here, and one could be here. And this will provide them cover, and they can repair these turrets from around the corner in a diagonal way. And that's fantastic, because what will happen is the people, the bad guys, will lock onto the turrets, and it will allow your colonists to constantly repair these turrets as long as they want. So it keeps the turrets going for much longer than normal. Now, there's something else to notice about turrets. If you ever get some plasteel, check and make a plasteel-based improvised turret. And here's what I mean by that. If we go over to improvised turret and we click on plasteel, we can make one. I'm just going to make one down here right now. A normal steel turret has 100 of 100 hit points, durability points, whatever you want to call it. But if we go to the plasteel one, 280 of 280. That's almost 3 times more hit points or durability points. It is so worth it to make one of these things of plasteel if you can. And it only takes 75 plasteel. So the whole thing does not have to be made out of plasteel, just some of it. It just kind of goes to show you that there's a lot of durability increase that you can get from using plasteel. Now the area here where these mortars are, I wanted to show you guys this really quick too. If we go back over to the zone and we go back over to the roof area, you're going to notice that this area, this hallway, is completely unroofed. And the reason I do this typically is so that when researchers who spend a lot of their times in the research room, or sculptors who spend a lot of the time in the sculpting room, simply go through, get something to eat every once in a while, go back to sculpting, and then go to sleep, they don't get cabin fever if you have this little opening here, because they have to walk out into the air, and it allows them to be outside every once in a while, which is good. But there's another thing that I like to use this hallway for, since it's out in the open, and that's putting my steel mortars down. So this area you can utilize to have mortars in. Your colonists will be able to walk past these with no problems. They're far enough away to where they won't explode. But the other thing is that nothing's really going to be shooting these that much unless you're up against other mortars. There's never going to be any guys that can get past your defenses and get to these. And if you do have opponents that get past your defenses and manage to get to the middle of the base, things have gone very, very sour anyway. But since they're right next to your various colonists' bedrooms, and they're also right next to the dining room, the cooking area, the kitchen, or not the kitchen so much as the freezer storage area and the research area, should you get a siege or a bunch of opponents that stage and then attack, you can get your colonists manning these turrets very, very fast. I'm sorry, mortars. I need to stop calling these mortars turrets. That's not technically what they are. Now, I want to go ahead and show you this base real quick against some pretty decent attacks. We're going to go ahead and put some attacks on that are much, much larger than what you would be facing with a build of this size. This is really, I guess, an intermediate build at best. There's quite a few turrets here, but there's really not a ton of them. If you notice, there's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 turrets, which is a lot, but it's not like overly horrible, especially considering if you don't utilize anything else, the turrets just take steel and components. It takes about 175 steel, I do believe, and then 3 components. Oh, there is one other thing I wanted to mention to you guys real quick. If we go over to power and we look at this power grid, there's a reason that this power here is outlining this area and is so close to these turrets, besides the fact that this is what is powering the inside of the base. And that's so that if the power gets blown out here, like there's a giant explosion here and this power conduit gets knocked out, you can actually reconnect these turrets to this power conduit, so they keep having energy and they don't get knocked offline. Alright, so I've started a raid real quick, and we're going to start with tribe people, and then from there we're going to go to spacers, or pirates, I guess, as you could say. Now, when you're fighting the tribe, obviously you're going to have a lot more persons coming at you. So, in this instance, let's go ahead and try and use our mortars real quick, just so I can kind of show you guys the value of mortars. A lot of people don't really like the mortars that much because they're pretty inaccurate, but if you do get one good shot with the mortars, you can knock out a lot of opponents. Let's go give it a shot real fast. We're going to put everyone here, and they're going to start getting into these mortars. And when our opponents get kind of close, we're going to go ahead and bring them out and over here so that they can start repairing these different turrets. You can see that's a lot of opponents coming at us. This is going to be a much harder battle than you would normally have to deal with. Even if you were playing on extreme, this is still more than you would ever really face. Let's go down here and kind of see how these turrets are going real quick. Looks like everything's being loaded. There's one loaded right now, another one. So we should shoot. There we go. There goes the shells. Now the question is, will we get lucky and get some hits in? Now look at that. We already got one person down. So if nothing else, it reduced our opponent count by 1. Here comes another shot. There we go. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Those were good hits right there. Right there you can see another, I think, maybe 2 or 3 people down. These opponents are going to start getting pretty close. So let's take 2 people off of the mortars real fast. And let's go bring them over here so they can start fixing and repairing these potential turrets. And we'll leave the other 2 over there. We're going to bring her over here. And then him over here. The biggest thing that we want to make sure of is that she doesn't fire her weapon, because if she fires her weapon, they're going to start kind of coming toward her. Let me go ahead and over here. We're going to take this dude right up in here. Fen over here. Yep, you can see right now he's repairing that turret. This turret over here is taking some damage. So let's go grab Zavala and bring her over to this turret so that she can start repairing it. Right there. There we go. Now we can see Fen got a little bit of damage. So since this door's here, he's going to be able to flee the area. The door will close behind him, and this guy will be stuck. Now, every once in a while, you're going to have instances where these turrets explode, and you can see even when they do explode, because these people get them down, that they take at least some damage, and they're going to end up getting killed. The biggest thing about this build is that the majority of the damage is going to be done to the turrets and not your colonists, because the turrets are replaceable. Your colonists really aren't. Let's go take a look at the mortars real quick and see how they're doing. Another 6 seconds on this one, but this one still has like 30-something seconds. So let's go ahead and draft him and bring him down here so that he can start doing some stuff. We'll go ahead and grab him and bring him over here, and maybe bring Zavala over here so she can start repairing these turrets if at all possible. You can hear another turret right there was going to go explode. It looks like this turret is kind of injured as well. Let's go see where the damage is to this turret, 84%. And that's it. At this point, the opponents are starting to flee. Now, the other cool thing about turrets is that as these guys go across the turrets will continue to fire and kill more and more of these guys. Let's watch this here. We don't need Sappy over here to be utilizing this mortar anymore. Let's go ahead and take her off of that. This way she can start just, I don't know, repairing. We'll go ahead and grab Stilts or whatever his name is and see if we can get some damage into these people by doing melee attacks. Might as well. They're not going to fight back anyway. And over here, we've got a little opponent just kind of dodging and weaving. Oh boy. Hopefully that turret doesn't attack this bear. Otherwise, we're going to have to deal with that BS. There we go. A little bit more damage there. There's another guy down. Another one down there from that turret. You can see these turrets really do a lot of work. Let's go see if we can take out this person as well. There we go. And we want to make sure that our buddy here doesn't get in the way of the turret. We don't want him getting hit by that turret accidentally. Let's see here if we can take this next person down. Taking a little bit of damage, but it's not too bad. There's another one down. And it looks like Zavala has been doing excellent at taking everyone else down over here. 2 more just kind of hanging around. They'll probably get away. You know what? Let's go ahead and bring her down here just to see if we can get one last lucky shot in. I'd hate to see everyone just be able to get away with impunity while we have the potential to kill one last bad guy. Oh, see, they're running back across the turrets. That's going to mean more death for them and more bodies and loot for us. There we go. Those turrets pretty much cleaned everything up. Let's take a look at the damage real quick. So it looks like we lost 1, 2. These turrets are fine. These turrets are fine. 3. These turrets are fine. Let's see. There is no turret there. 4. 5. And 6. So we ended up losing 6 turrets total. And we killed basically everyone on the entire board. And we only suffered a very little bit of damage. If we look over here, he's got 1 bruise from a club. And if we go over here to our little beater here with his knife, you can see he only has a couple of bruises and a crack. Nothing really that bad at all. And remember, our people didn't do any of the damage, except for when everyone was in full retreat mode. All these guys did was just repair every once in a while. So now let's take a look at how this build does against spacers, for example. Alright, so we've got another raid coming in way at the upper left-hand side again. Let's go ahead and fight this as if though this was a real battle. Let's say they were coming in right now. Let's get everyone manning the mortars. Oh, Fen is right there next to a mortar, so let's get him doing that. Zavala, we'll put you over here, and Sappy, you can get on this mortar. Now, when you're dealing with pirates or people of the spacer subtype, I guess, there's always going to be a lot less of them. There we go, another lucky shot. And you can see right here, this guy had a charge rifle, so that's really nice that we managed to get him out of there. It's all about those lucky hits right now. We did a little bit more damage to this guy, which is pretty darn nice as well. They're getting pretty close. So in a moment here, we're going to have to take everyone off of these turrets and have them go up here so they can start repairing. In fact, let's see who is the furthest away from getting their mortar ready. It's going to be Sappy. Let's go ahead and bring her up here so that she can start repairing these turrets as they take a lot of damage. Now, these guys here are going to be doing a lot more damage to these turrets than the other people that we've had fighting so far. You see the turrets are starting to get a little bit of damage in. It's quite nice. Let's see if there's any damage to this turret. Yeah, it's already down to 61%. Let's go ahead and grab Sappy and start repairing this turret right here. It's going to keep it up for a little bit longer than normal. Got a lot of damage coming in, though. You can hear. I'll go ahead and mention real fast, too, that I am using the mod, the extra weapons, but I am not utilizing it for my people. So we're at a disadvantage. We only have the crappy, like, regular weapons. These guys are going to have interesting weapons, like DP-12 Superior. I think there's probably some more charge rifles over here, another charge rifle over here. These guys are pretty damn good outfitted, but I think we're still going to do pretty good against them. Let's take a look. That was another shot right there with that mortar. Let's go ahead and grab Sappy and bring her out of this combat so she's not getting blown up. There we go. And now that we're here, we can have her doing a little bit more repairing if she can. Now, this turret right here is pretty darn beat up, so I'm not really sure if we'll get any repairs down. All right, that turret's down. Let's bring Sappy into this hallway here. And the other reason I'm doing this and putting these people in these specific spots is it allows them to gain the best and most maximum cover from the wall, the turret, the darkness, all those areas there. Let's take everyone off of the mortars, I think, for the most part. We really don't need them anymore. Go ahead and grab everyone off of here, off a draft, and we'll bring them over here for right now, just in case. Now, Sappy does have a very, very nice external shield, as you can see right here, which is very valuable for her. It's going to allow her to potentially take some shots that she wouldn't normally take. I've got to micro her real quick because she just got blown up. Going to go ahead and keep that door closed because when the door is closed and they don't have anything to attack, they're always going to go for the turrets. So you can see down here, there's another turret kind of going buck wild. So let's go bring Fen and bring him down here to bring this turret back online. It's probably taking a little bit of damage. You see right here, 74%, 61% on this turret. We're going to want this fixed up as best as possible. Poor Fen just got shot too. We're going to have to watch him as best as we can. Let's go undraft him and start repairing this turret. There we go. That turret's going to be back up and running in no time. Looks like we've got quite a few more people. Everyone's pretty much going to this side. So let's go grab our colonists and put them on this side as well. And then Zappy can go over here and kind of deal with this single guy that really wants this turret down over there. It's kind of interesting. Fen, instead of going that way, let's bring you right over here so that you can keep healing up these turrets real fast. Excellent. Gonna go ahead and get this. Now, you do have to micro these guys for the most part because they're gonna want to run away from all the damage, everything. Look at that. Look at how that turret gets back online even though it goes down because of the repair job. Now everyone's starting to run away. So again, let's see if we can get a little bit of damage in on these guys by hitting the little stragglers that try and run for their lives. I love doing this stuff. Here we go. Let's go grab Stilts over here. See if he can grab some damage to this guy. Let's get him out of the way, though, for when that turret starts shooting. There we go. Another guy down from him there. And I think we've got a few people running for their lives over here. Just out of range of the turrets, though. That's really too bad. Zavala, can you get some damage in on Priscilla here? We'll give it a shot. See if we can attack these guys right up in here as well. They're going to get away. But you can see, again, we did a large amount of damage to our opponents. We ended up losing a few turrets. It looks like we've got 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and 4 turrets down. So that's really not that bad. I think that this guy's going to end up getting absolutely slaughtered as he walks past these turrets. Let's watch this for a second. This should be pretty comical. You see that turret right there lining up for the shot. And this guy is pretty much done. What is she shooting at? Well, I don't know what she's shooting at. There we go. She's just kind of like lining up with her rifle. So anyway, I know someone had mentioned that they didn't like me jump skipping that much in battle. They wanted to kind of see all the little choices I make when I use these little defensive builds. So there you go. You got to see all of the different choices that I would kind of make with minimal skipping. I had to skip a little bit. And right over here, if we go to poor Fen, we'll see what kind of damage he took. He was the only one that took some damage in this. and he's got a headshot with a charge rifle, so no big deal. We'll be able to heal him up. We'll put together these turrets. Even when the turrets explode, it's not really that big of a deal. Like I said, all it's costing you is a little bit of steel and maybe some components, and a lot of time you still get to keep a component out of the deal. So that's just my little build there. Mortars in a unobstructed hallway, and then the big shining star here is the crappy regular steel improvised turrets, no big fancy turrets here, in the dark, roofed, in an area staggered like this so that they can be repaired, this little walled-in pocket here, with doors so that anyone can always run for cover and have the door shut behind them so they're not getting blown up if the turret blows up for some reason or if someone tries to run in and chase them. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this real quick little defense build guide and tutorial. If you have any additional suggestions on things that you would like to see, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. And until then, stay foxy and much love.